And here's the twist. Because this has been so lucrative for so long, now we're seeing venture capital jumping into this. So since 2021, VC firms have been all over youth sports. They say the youth sports market is worth approximately $30 billion and growing fast, with a compound growth of 9% annually through 2028. Right. Several years ago, Overtime Elite, which is a pro-style program for teens, they get paid. They raised $240 million. Andreessen Horowitz was one of the investors. Jeff Bezos was one of the investors. That's why we see Overtime Elite on Amazon now. Kevin Durant is an investor in Overtime Elite. David Stern, rest in peace, he invested in Overtime Elite. Right. So we see the type of money. Smart money sees the money in youth sport.
That we get back to talking about this community, because I think that's one way, and that I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, it may be the tagline you use there. If you change the game, change the community.
I'm the game changer, the mover, the shaker. With every basket, I'm a community maker. I'm the game changer, the mover, the shaker. With every basket, I'm a community maker.
Great question. So the No Backboard Basketball League, the vision of it is a new recreational basketball platform to provide opportunities for Black and brown individuals to actually own wealth creating assets in the sports space. Welcome to the No Backboard Basketball Show. I'm your host, Mark T. Armstrong, the inventor of Basketball to Remix, the modern interpretation of the original game, and founder of the No Backboard Basketball League. No Backboard Basketball League is envisioned as an alternative basketball development platform, alternative recreational basketball platform, and alternative basketball entertainment platform. Purpose: to make a positive impact on basketball in the United States. To learn more about my why behind the No Backboard Basketball League, check out my book on Amazon, No Backboard Basketball, Remixing Basketball as a Catalyst for Change. Again, that's on Amazon. Search No Backboard Basketball, Remixing Basketball as a Catalyst of Change, and that's available on Amazon. You really want to consider joining the community. You can go to nobackboard.com. You'll see a field there, provide your email list and join the community. We're on the verge of launching what we call the U-Hooper Society, which is a utility first blockchain digital trading card community that is going to be aligned to participate in the economic growth of the No Backboard Basketball League. Really see it as developing new pathways for ownership in sports. So you definitely want to get in line for that. Also, until you become a member of the U-Hooper Society, consider supporting the effort. You can go to nobackboard.store, and check out our apparel, our hats, our shirts, even some No Backboard Basketball music. So go to nobackboard.store. Be one of the first in your area to show your support for the No Backboard Basketball League, our vision and our mission, by rocking a hat, t-shirt, or even some of our jams. We've got over 20 songs specifically developed for the No Backboard Basketball League. I'm confident you'll find a tune or two that you enjoy playing and sharing with your friends. All right, I think that is most of the house cleaning. And if any of those ways of supporting doesn't fit right now, buy me a cup of coffee or an adult beverage. A link to my various payment platforms are in the description. Okay, now we're ready to rock. Today we're going to step on to the court of hardwood youth basketball. You know, the youth basketball space is a multi-billion-dollar space in and of itself. And today we're going to talk about the world of club basketball shoe circuits, and more or less the world of just basketball circuits in general. What started off once as an AAU thing, then became a shoe circuit thing, and now it's just a circuit thing, right? Because picture this. You have thousands of young athletes crisscrossing the country, dazzling the crowds and chasing the dreams. And behind it all is this economic engine just raking in cash, hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars every single year. And what are the athletes left with? What are the families left with? Well, they're left with a little bit more than sneakers if they were sponsored, a few highlight reels, and that's it. So let's do a deep dive into what's actually going on in these shoe circuits. So we're going to be breaking down the club basketball circuits, and we're going to just high level. This is all inclusive. So you have your Nikes EYLB, Adidas 3 SSB, Pumas NAX Pro. We'll take a look at the dollars, the brands, and why the kids that are fueling this boom aren't seeing the rewards economically. And plus, we'll explore the big question: could this system change? And of course, you know what my answer is if you follow my content. All right. So first, what are these shoe circuits? Well, the Amateur Athletic Union, or AAU, has been a staple in the sports industry for over a century. But today, what started as AAU, and then we saw the introduction of the shoe circuits, is now just a full market of circuits, right? Both for elite stars, emerging stars, and these are traveling leagues sponsored by some are sponsored by your Nikes, your Adidas, your Puma, Under Armour, and now even New Balance. In 2025, as we roll into the spring, summer season of basketball, when all of these circuits are going to come online, you have the boys side boasting 5 major shoe circuits. You have Nike's EYLB, EYBL. You have Adidas 3 SSB. Plus, there are 5 Tier 2 circuits for Under Armour Rise. Nike has a Tier 2, Adidas has a Tier 2. Then there are 11 independent circuits, like HoopMate, which is a massive youth sports platform with facilities and leagues across the country. So that's just on the boys' side. Right, on the girls' side, there are 4 major shoe circuits. So Nike has a girls EYBL. There are 3 Tier 2 leagues, and there are 10 independent circuits like Select 40 for girls. So overall, there are 38 shoe circuits encompassing boys and girls, and all of them are packed with talent. Now, let's talk about the money, right? So these circuits generated estimated 860 million to 5.6 billion annually. Disclaimer: I did all my research and editing for this presentation leveraging XAI's Grok. And since there's not a lot of public information with regards to exactly what each one of these circuits are bringing in, and plus it's a very fragmented space with various levels of accountability and professionalism, the AI did its best to guesstimate, if you would, based upon the publicly available data. So keep that in mind. So again, when we talk about all 38 circuits, it's estimated that on an annual basis, these circuits are generating anywhere from $860 million to $5 billion annually. Now, how are they generating all this money, or how's all this economic activity, right? This is economic activity. Well, you have sponsorship from the shoe brands, you have ticket sales to the events. Parents know, you may be out, depending on how many people are traveling, it may be, and what event you go to, it may be $25 a day or more these days. You have retail gear, and then you have the sports tourism. So events like Nike Peach Jam draws thousands of families, scouts, fans from all across the country, all pumping cash into the local economies, right? Now, here's the wild part. all of this economic activity. So we're talking clearly hundreds of millions of dollars, if not into the billions annually, of economic activity is being generated around 2,500 at the max, 4,500 athletes, right? That's fewer than 5,000 kids. You know, you're talking about some kids, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, they still got braces on, and they're part of the engine, this multi-billion-dollar engine, this machine just raking in cash, spring and summer in, spring and summer out. And get this, they're the ones wearing the logos, wearing the uniforms, wearing the sneakers. They're the ones doing the drop draw crossovers, the deep threes to win games, or the slam dunks. They're the ones that build all the hype, drive the social media traffic on all these different pages that are capturing the content and posting it. But where does the money go? Right? Well, definitely we know it's not to them. So you have your brands picking up money. You have your Nike, your Adidas, your Puma, all cashing big through their basketball lines, right? These kids are walking billboards. You have the organizers, so those that are organizing the actual events, the venues, renting the venues, staffing them, you have those. And then you have the cities in general, the economic impact of these athletes. That's why for those of us that are paying attention over this past decade, you saw this move in certain areas of public-private partnerships with these massive facilities designed to host statewide, regional-wide, national-wide, and some even international sports events to tap into the sports tourism, right? So when they built these large complexes for recreational, semi-pro, and high school youth sports, the objective is for that venue to be a destination for these events. And then the hotels, the restaurants, and everything else in the area benefits economically for it. So the same model they use for your Super Bowls, your World Series, your All-Star games is just scaled down to a Peach Jam one weekend in Atlanta, but it can drive millions of dollars of economic activity. That's the power of youth sports. And behind it is, you know, there's a glaring gap. Right? Because while the kids are driving this economic action, the financial rewards never really flow back to them. You know, they, especially legally, above board. Right? So, and here's the twist. Because this has been so lucrative for so long, now we're seeing venture capital jumping into this. So since 2021, VC firms have been all over youth sports. They say the youth sports market is worth approximately $30 billion and growing fast, with a compound growth of 9% annually through 2028. Right. Several years ago, Overtime Elite, which is a pro-style program for teens, they get paid. They raised $240 million. Andreessen Horowitz was one of the investors. Jeff Bezos was one of the investors. That's why we see Overtime Elite on Amazon now. Kevin Durant is an investor in Overtime Elite. David Stern, rest in peace, he invested in Overtime Elite, right? So we see the type of money, smart money sees the money in youth sports, right? Yet, amid all the investment, the athletes are still staying predominantly unpaid. The system's booming, but the kids at the core of it are still outside looking in. And for anyone who's been following my content or been following my advocacy, I've been advocating against the exploitation of youth athletes forever, right? A year ago, I did a study, and literally we're talking about over 100 years now, where the sports industry in whole has really been driven by teenagers to young adults. Teenagers and young adults. That is the core of the financial engine, but they don't participate It's almost like a level of indentured servitude. They don't participate in the wealth that they're creating. So why does this matter? Well, for me, it's not just about fairness, it's about the future. If youth basketball is going to keep growing, and if American basketball is going to reclaim the throne as the best basketball country in the world, based upon not what our elite Olympic team does, but what our World Cup teams do, what our 3-on-3 teams do, what our junior league teams do, right? To me, if we're the best basketball country in the world, and therefore we should experience success at every level and every variation of the sport of basketball, and we're just flat not doing that right now. So imagine if a slice of those billions of dollars went back to the student athletes and their families. What would that look like? Okay, so maybe it's a revenue share. The sponsors cut deals and funnel it into a trust fund for the athletes. Or now we have name, image, and likeness. You could do those type of deals. We got the college athletes have NIL now. And I'm surprised, based upon my research, that even in going into this 2025 spring summer season, apparently none of these shoe circuits have been able to establish NIL type structure for the athletes that participate. Now, there could be some hurdles. There are some laws around minors working, but when you think about all the minors that are working in entertainment and media, or driving or making their own money because of their own businesses they started in as content creators, etc. Many of the top content creators today started off as kids and were making millions of dollars before they hit their 20s, right? So there's opportunity here, even though there are some hurdles. But when you think about, you have 38 circuits already structured out there, and many of them are sponsored shoe leagues. There's a basic framework for this concept to work. And it's a chance to make youth sports more sustainable and equitable. What I mean by more sustainable that you have models that aren't completely 100% dependent upon the discretionary income of the parents, and more equitable is that you have models that allow families that may lack the money up front to leverage any type of NIL earnings to be able to cover their costs, to participate, and then offer the surplus, if there is, then those dollars can make it back to the family as well. So, as we're watching these young ballers light up the court nationwide and chasing their dreams and their shot for greatness, it's not hard to wonder, at least from my seat, shouldn't these young men and women, shouldn't they be getting a piece of the pie? And of course I think so. And as many of you know, that's my motivating drive behind the No Backboard Basketball League, and our desire to leverage blockchain technologies to reimagine the relationship between youth basketball families, and brands that feed off of youth basketball. So years ago, I outlined a concept for an alternative compensation model after one of the lackluster All-Star games. I think it was 3 years ago. And it's a compensation model that brought balance of guaranteed payment for value, and introduced a more impactful performance for pay model that aligned with every single game. Now, I shared the model with many people, and the model is really too disruptive to be introduced at the professional level. We think about how American fans have allowed our professional athletes to be as entitled as they are. But I do see a pathway to introduce this compensation concept of this model within the No Backboard Basketball League, our envisioned network of No Backboard Basketball training gyms, and the 10,000 NIL athletes we believe we'll be able to work with through our 100 Gems. In a nutshell, we leverage the quid pro quo requirements of NIL. We make every athlete in our league a brand ambassador. They have 4 basic requirements to meet that brand ambassadorship. There are 2 additional compensation models, an affiliate commissions model, which is straight up. People buy stuff with your affiliate code, you get a commission, and there's a performance tied to a gamification of an overall NFT that aligns with that athlete. That's exciting. Now, it's novel. It's a novel concept that's combined with the No Backboard Basketball League. I believe will unlock new pathways for economic participation for basketball families and the communities of those basketball families. Right. So I'm going to leave you there. We're going to leave it there for today and tease you with that. But, you know, the club basketball circuit is a real boom. I mean, every year seems like there's another circuit added, and that circuit is, you know, it gets fully operational and supported. But let's keep remembering, it's the athletes and the families that are driving all of this, right? It's the athletes and the families that are driving all of this, but the athletes and the families still do not get to participate in it, right? So the basketball, you have the circuit's a boom, it's massive. You have the athletes driving it, but the paycheck is missing. And I think the No Backboard Basketball League will position itself to start writing some of those checks and completely disrupt the whole market space. Hey, I'm going to leave it there today. I'm Mark T. Armstrong. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Remember, the U Hooper Society is coming. It's a new pathway to ownership in sports. You want to check out the project. Until next time, be blessed. I'll see you at the top.
I'm the game changer, the mover, the shaker. With every basket, I'm a community maker. I'm the game changer, the mover, the shaker.